Hi, right, folks. Welcome back to Glesga News. Right, we're on the Daily Record. This is a West of Scotland Rangers Celtic type deal. This is by Hugh Keevins. I don't normally get involved in this, but Hugh Keevins is somebody a wee bit different, I suppose. He's more a sort of radio, well, as far as I know, a radio commentator stroke journalist. And as far as I know, you'll need to correct me on this, he is neither one side or the other. I don't think he's pro-Celtic and I don't think he's pro-Rangers. Whereas opposed to him, all the normal people that are writing here are partisan. Well, let me explain what I mean by partisan. They favour one side or the other. They're Rangers or Celtic supporters at heart. You know what I'm saying? Ali McCoist, Chris Sutton, etc., etc., etc. So, I thought I would read this one out because he thinks he's funny as well, you know. So, anyway, here we go. Celtic fans will need hypnotherapy to forget this season of horrors, and Dermot Desmond must start talking. Hugh Keevins said that. Anger has turned to apathy at Parkhead, and the media-shy businessman has to start communicating. All right, is that right, Hugh? The other man there, that's some moustache, that, innit? You need to get rid of that, Desmond. Puts years on you, pal. Anyway, here we go. He says here, if Celtic had the status of a country, not a club, a state of emergency would have been declared by this time. It will take hypnotherapy for the supporters to wipe from their minds the accumulated horror when the season ends. The horror. That's my impression of Marlon Brando. Do you remember? Oh, never mind. And it's far from over yet. What's next? A title win for Rangers at Celtic Park on March the 21st? Holy Toledo. Rangers to win the Europa League to add continental insult to domestic injury for the Celtic fans. What won't happen is the publication of that promised but undelivered January review into the club's progress so far this season. And not just because we're now into February. My guess is it's been shelved because Celtic haven't discovered anyone with the creative writing skills to put the club's current state into words the supporters will understand. J.K. Rowling would struggle to demonstrate the level of imagination to describe the internal collapse on the scale Celtic have suffered. That's J.K. Rowling, that's her that done the Harry Potter thing. Runs about in a Bentley now. An urban myth, J.K. Rowling sitting in a cafe somewhere with eating pie, beans and chips, starving. And no, I've just kicked off. The fans are no longer there to be appeased anyway. They're looking to be inspired while they watch Rangers ready themselves to leave Celtic in their slipstream. And that's why the disappearance from view of Celtic's principal shareholder, Dermot Desmond, is hard to fathom. Anger has turned to apathy among the paying public, and apathy is very bad for business. The car park outside Celtic Park has gone quiet. And there's a sign there for the fans. Sack the board. I always found that kind of weird because you can't sack the board. The board would need to sack themselves. Or does the owner sack the board? The owner is the board. I could never work that out. Sack the manager. I get that. That's feasible. That can be done. Nah, man. Here we go. Shoot the board has turned... Shoot the board? Never heard that one. Has turned to ignore the board, which isn't a good sign before the season ticket renewal forms are sent out to the disillusioned. There's a power vacuum at Celtic Park. Peter Law is going from the chief executive office, but not until the summer. Manager Neil Lennon will follow him out the door because no one would think Celtic would get away with starting next season without a change of the gaffer. Desmond. It's no longer Dermot. It's Desmond. Desmond should now be filling the vacuum with a statement of intent to the supporters while remembering how he gained access to the club in the first place. And there's the man there again with the big moustache and the flash suit. That is a really flash suit. Bet you it cost a fortune. When the Irishman started giving financial backing to Fergus McCann following the takeover of the club in 1994, it was on the back of the old board of directors having treated the fans with contempt. The supporters responded by withdrawing their attendance from matches and therefore their financial support for a club who moved perilously close to being closed down by the bank. That's right. And what he's alluding to there, is sort of saying, hinting at, for those that don't know the word alluding. But anyway, what he's hinting at there is that back in the early 90s, Celtic nearly got shut down, running out of money, because apparently there was a group of people that owned the club, and I can't quite remember the scenario, but from what I can remember, it was a group of families that owned the club, and they seemed to have some sort of hereditary right to own Celtic, and they didn't give a monkeys about. In fact, they treated the fans, and in fact, most of Glesga, with complete contempt. They didn't like us because I think they'd been getting so much cash out of that football club, right, that they were kind of above us, running about in right good motors. Anyway, never mind that. But what he goes on to say here, foreclosure isn't even remotely possible now at Celtic due to a sound business structure. And that's what you should remember, that Desmond, Dermot and the likes of Fergus McCann brought to the club. All right, they invest rather than take out. And that's what happened prior to that. People that were there, as far as I know, can be corrected, the people that were there in the past were taken from the club and not given to the club. Right? But it says here, but history could repeat itself when it comes to a wedge being driven between the power base and the supporters base. It's all very well Desmond having a disdain for the media that could glow in the dark, yet if the fans feel he holds them in the same regard, then he's bang in trouble. Rangers' transfer window was immaculate. They are a model of stability, sound management on and off the park, and have a handle on forward planning at the same time. But so did Celtic. I mean, for the last 9 years, surely. Albeit that Rangers weren't there for a long time. They were out, weren't they? Celtic Park is full of jackets on sugary nails. I was going to say that in a kind of Glesga way. Celtic Park is full of jackets on sugary nails, and no one willing to offer a hint, far less a declaration of which direction the club is headed. Somebody better start galvanising rather than antagonising the customers, or else there's going to be a 90s revival, and I'm not talking about a comeback of Delamitri. See, that's him being funny there with the Delamitri thing. I would never have thought of Delamitri. I've never bought a record of them. I would never think of them, But that's Hugh Keevins. That actually indicates how mad he is. The bold Hugh Keevins. He just says it the way he feels it, and I don't think, and he gets into trouble quite a lot because partisan people think you're having a go at me. He is. So I'll give him credit for that. Anyway, listen, folks. I don't even know if I'm going to publish this, but I'm bored. There's nothing else happening. The things I'm reading about people getting their dogs rescued for ice and all that. I'm not interested. Deer getting rescued for ice. What are you going to do? Drag it out and then shoot it? What would you want? You want to rescue a deer for? I don't get it. We eat things like that. Anyway, you like the content? Hit the log button, the like button, share and subscribe. Peace out.
How dare you?